The next speaker will be our chairperson, Rita Sitos. She'll be talking about RB treatments. Can we avoid radiation retinopathy? Uh,
Okay. Yes. Today I would like to share with you RB treatments. Can we avoid radiation retinopathy? So I have no financial disclosure. As we know that radiation retinopathy is a significant complication of radiotherapy in RB patients. It is characterized by progressive damage to the retinal microvasculature due to injury to endothelial cell. And this may result from microvascular occlusion and leaking capillaries, usually occurring several months after the radiation exposure. This is very important, showing you that the clinical risk factors for the development of radiation retinopathy. The one is prior or concurrent chemotherapy, and the second is size, location of irradiated area. The larger, the more posterior the location of the irradiated area, the higher the risk of the RR, radiation retinopathy. And then extrinsic factors have to pay attention on type of radiation. The RBRT, external beam radiation therapy, have higher risk than more localized modalities such as proton beam therapy. And also the other things is radiation dose, fractionation schedule, and elapsed time in the course of treatment. At this stage, I think I can stop my talk because already answer what is in the title, how we can avoid radiation therapy. But I want to proceed with this, showing you a case, a case with radiation retinopathy as a devastating ocular complication that, as my experience, at first I was doubtful to deliver this case to you because I think this is a bad experience that we have. But on the other side, I believe that, as mentioned here, that bad experiences can be the best teachers, but only if you can reflect on them and learn from them. So let me continue with this case illustration. A 5 years boy was referred to our hospital in Jakarta from local hospital in the North Sumatra with diagnosis of anophthalmia. Actually, the boy has bilateral retinoblastoma. The left eye was enucleated at the local hospital, followed by 4 cycles adjuvant chemo at the local hospital 3 months prior to admission. He has history of leukocoria for the past 2 years. When he admitted to our hospital, the fundus under right eye showing multifocal tumors and a huge juxtapapillaris tumor, I will show you, and that is the only eye. For a note that we have challenge before we continue, this is the uncooperative parents, always undergo irregular follow-up schedule, mostly back and forth to Lampung District Hospital due to familiar reasons. So this is the fundus at the first admission. We can see that there is the juxtapapillaris tumors, multifocal tumor at the first admission, and there is also a tumor and the peripheral. At the time we did chemo reduction followed by TTT and cryo. I know that it should be also IAC, but at that time there is no available IAC at our hospital. So we gave only chemo reduction, TTT, and cryo. And then after that, the patient lost to follow up. And by the history, we know that additional 4 cycle systemic chemo was given at the local hospital until he come back, and as showing on the right fundus and the right picture, the tumor looks shrinkage but still big, and then we gave additional TTT, and then the patient lost to follow up again, and we noticed that the patient already have total 12 cycle of intravenous chemo at the local hospital, and when he come back, as you may see, main tumor progress, new tumor in the inferior retina associated with vitreous and retinal seeds. As at the time melphalan has been and IAC has been available at our hospital, then we give intravitreal melphalan and also IAC melphalan 5 milligram. The result quite good, but the bad news after, the patient was then lost to follow up again following the IAC, and then until return to our hospital with history of additional serial of 2 cycle intravenous, 25 fractionated dose of EBRT at the local hospital with less communication with our team regarding dose plan. So when he come back, I was very surprised showing this fundus, neovascularization, progressive retinal bleeding covering part of the tumor. We didn't apply FFA, not available. And this fundus, this progressive retinal bleeding worsened, progressed to pre-retinal as shown in the right fundus, right picture, hemorrhage covering most quadrant, IOP increase, and at the time we decided to give ranibizumab intravitreal injection. But unfortunately, no improvement following the IFID anti-VEGF, and because there was a proliferative stage pre-retinal hemorrhage, we decided to do enucleation. So what we learned from this case, poor management will result in poor outcomes because lack of good communication with the parents and the referring team. And EBRT should be administered with extremely caution, or strictly said that should be avoided in patients with intraocular tumor who have undergone multiple prior or concurrent chemotherapies, including IAC. And then the indication type, dose, elapse type, if we want to proceed with radiation, should be discussed with oncoradiotherapists very carefully. And I think in this case, failed to control the tumor following multiple chemotherapy, we should consider enucleation rather than to proceed with EBRT. So last but not least, good communication with the parents and the referring team is critical.